Good morning everybody, Christy from Getting Into Prepping. In this video I just quickly want to talk about or lift my opinion, air my opinion on something. The question is, during a disaster or a SHTF situation, who is your enemy? Now I'm currently watching, and I'm not sure if I'm going to continue watching it. I'm watching a series on Netflix called Outlast. Now the reason I'm saying I'm not sure if I'm going to watch it is I actually got to a point where I was so fed up and so frustrated that I could actually feel the frustration of the members in this whole game. The game is basically to survive this. They started off with 16 people divided into 4 groups in Alaska, and they had to survive. There is no rules, so that makes it a bit weird, but there's no rules as to how to do it. You can do it however you want. Now at one stage there's a group, the Alpha team, or whatever they wanted, something to do with Alpha, that went across the river and sabotaged the Delta team or Delta group, whatever, and they took away their sleeping bags. And then the two members that was left on the Delta team then decided to meet up with Bravo so that they can actually form another team, because otherwise the guy from Bravo had to leave because he was the only one left standing in the Delta or in the Bravo group. So then, as they were planning to do this, the two women, let's just call them women, they actually started harassing this guy when he tried to get across the river. First of all, they physically attacked him almost at his camp, to the point where he cannot even move the stuff, his own stuff, because they will then steal it and destroy it. And then when he tried to get across the river, they stuffed his raft by puncturing the tires, the inner tubes that he had to build the raft, and they took the raft apart. And when he went to that lady, or that woman, I don't want to call her a lady because she's not a lady, because that woman actually then assaulted him and fought with him to get his own stuff that was on his raft. And that's when I lost it. And that's when I realized that if people are willing to do this in a game, what do you think is going to happen if this is a real emergency, if there is a real issues? What do you think people are going to do? Now, somebody in the series actually said that you must remember one thing, that the actions of that person was not something that came out because of that game. It came out because it was already there in that person when he started off the game. So I want to tell you now that if a person has got a bad attitude and a bad personality, that is only going to be exacerbated as soon as you get into an emergency situation. So what I'm saying is that if you are a good person, you will probably remain a good person. You might do a couple of things that's questionable, but you, as in general, you will remain a good person. A bad person is going to do questionable things, and he's not even going to think twice about it. So that's just my take on it, is that if you decide on who you're going to allow in your group, test them under pressure and see what comes out. Because what comes out now is only going to be emphasized and exacerbated in an emergency situation. If that person becomes violent and a threat to the group in a training exercise, that person will definitely be a threat in a real life situation. So what I'm saying is that if you do get to your groups, getting your mags together, make sure that your mutual assistant group is people that you know and that you trust, and that you know what their behavior is like. That automatically brings me to my second point, in that is that you have to be very careful in an emergency situation. You have to be very careful who you trust, because that might cost you and your group their lives and their livelihood if you choose to trust the wrong person. And then my third point with regard to people and emergency situations, excuse me, if you go and have a look at my videos, my previous videos, especially the ones where when there's scenarios and challenges, I always refer to staying away from people. The reason is exactly this reason, is that you do not know how people will react in a certain situation. So the best course of action is to avoid people until you know who that person is, and you know who that person is going to be in an emergency situation. So yeah, it's a bit of a grim one, a bit of a dark one, but make sure that first of all you trust the right people, that you trust people that is trustworthy, and people that at the end of the day do not have a character flaw, if you want to call it like that, or a negative dark side to him or her, because that is going to come out even worse in an emergency situation. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. I am a person that believes in giving people chances, but if you show me that there is a crack or a character flaw in your armor, yeah, I'm not going to trust you for a second or a third time unnecessarily if I don't have to. So yeah, that's just my thought. Make sure that you do trust the right people in life in general, but especially in emergency situations, because your life and livelihood might depend on it. So be careful, think twice, and if at all possible, avoid people that you do not know, because you do not know what their intentions are, you do not know what their characters are. That unfortunately, it's a very, very bad and a very sad thing to say, but if you trust the wrong people, you're going to get in trouble. So rather not trust anyone until you know the situation and you know that person. Make sure that you pick the right people. So that's my thoughts on this. I'm going to make sure that I test my group and I know their character before I allow them to be part of my mutual assistant group or my MAG. If you've got a bad character, don't expect an invitation from me. But yeah, that being said, keep on practicing your skills, work on your people skills, work on your mutual assistant group. Make sure that you pick the right people for your mutual assistant group, and keep on prepping until the next one.